Welcome learner, my name is Shibaji Debnath. In this tutorial, I will be talk about simple UI design for the Flutter application development. And this tutorial is the beginning of tutorial series because I will be taught you so many UI designing process with the Flutter app development. And it is most important because when you are working as a Flutter app developer and if you want to create some interactive UI and advanced UI for the Flutter application, so that time you may face so many challenges. So in this tutorial series I will be start from the basics to intermediate and intermediate to advanced level tutorials I will be covered in this series. So let's start. This is some UI which can be built with the Flutter, but most of the Flutter beginners could not create this kind of UI designing using Flutter because sometimes Flutter is hard to write some codes. But once you understand the concept, so then you can be create any kind of designing easily. So first we can go to the documentation site of this official site, and after that here is the user interface section. And after that, when we go to the user interface section, so here is some basic foundation widgets which can be used in our application development. Okay, these basic widgets actually most important when we are create any UI designing for the beginning stage. Okay, so this basic widgets every time we need to be required. First widgets is text widgets. Also we can create row and column widgets. It is for the positioning or styling purpose. Also we can use the stack widgets. This stack widgets is the very special type widgets, and these widgets actually uses for the layering system because sometimes we are create any UI design that designs have multiple layers, so that time we can use the stack UI. And also we can create the container, and this container is most important to create any kind of UI design foundations, so that time this container is very useful. If you are comes from the website designing background, so sometimes you can relate this process because these basic widgets are most important to create any kind of UI designing. We need to be use this basic designing to create a simple UI designing purpose. Okay, so let's dive into the code. So I already create a basic structure of Flutter applications, and this is the very basic templates which actually provided by the Flutter team, but this time this UI design does not require actually. So for that purpose I just remove some codes from this main.dart file. So this time I just simply remove this file from this section, and after that I just simply create a folder that's called screns because so many screens I will be created step by step. So you stay with me through this tutorial series because multiple UI designs I will be covered in this series, and after watching this series you may much capable to understand how can be built any UI design with the Flutter, and you can create any kind of UI designing after watching this series. Also I give you the source code for the research purpose, for the development purpose you can be use this source code for the app development process. Okay, so first we can be create a basic welcome screen. So for that purpose I just simply name here welcome dot dart we can be create here, and after that we can use the st means here we can be create normally two type of widgets can be create here. One is the stateful, another is the stateless widget. So when we are create any UI designing, so first thing we mostly use stateless widget because stateless widget is the very useful for the UI designing. So always when you create any UI designing from basics, so that time you must be use stateless widget first. After your design is completed, if you want to use any interactivity in your UI designing, so that time you can be convert your widget stateless to stateful widget. So that will be good for any interactive UI. But otherwise, if your UI is static, so must be you can be use stateless widget first. Okay, now we can create welcome screen here. Okay, so this is the welcome screen, and after that when I create this welcome screen, so this welcome screen need to be connect in this main.dart because this time I do not have any my home page widgets are here because I already removed this widget. first, and also I remove the comments section, and this time I just import welcome screen here. Okay, so this time I use here welcome screen, and when I use this welcome screen, so that time we are get the some blue underline. So this blue underline basically not any issue, it is actually suggestions. Here we can use a const modifier to remove this line. So I already removed this line, and after that when we start any UI designing, so that time we have some basic widgets can be used here, and that basic widget is the not a placeholder. We can use any UI design. Most of the times I actually preferred scaffold widget. So this scaffold widget is very good for UI designing, and sometimes some developers can use cappuccino. Cappuccino is the UI foundations for the iOS app development, and if we use any scaffold widget, so that UI foundations comes from the Material UI. Material UI foundation is the Android application UI, which actually we seen in the Android app designing foundation. So that is actually based on Material design, and that Material design is provided by Google. This Cupertino is the another library or framework which is the foundation of iOS application or iOS app development foundation process. So this two kind of platform is available to build our applications. So most of my users are based on Android devices, so most of the times we are actually use the Material UI, and it is actually Flutter also recommended it. So this is the actually two things which can be used in our application development process. But when I start our application designing with the Material UI design, so that time we must be use here scaffold widget, because this scaffold widget is the basic foundation widget, which is the white screen which actually see here currently. So this scaffold widget actually comes from the Material package. This time I just simply start from the scaffold widget, and if you want to learn about how can we develop with the Cupertino widget, so I will be discuss it in other tutorial if you like to learn about that. So when I start scaffold widget, so after that here we can see some basic input parameters which can be used many of times. Okay, so many widgets parameters are already here which can be used in our scaffold widget. Okay, so when we are start basic foundation design, so that time we can start it with the body tag, and when I start the body tag, so that time this body parameter here we can use the center widget. So this is the center widget, which is the very basic foundational widget which can be used here. And when I use it here, so after using this particular text widget, and we can see the output on this screen. Okay, so this is the welcome screen, and after that if we want to modify this text in our application, so that time we can use a parameter which called style parameter. And after that when we are use style tag or style parameter, after that here we need to be use the text style widget need to be used in this purpose. Okay, so this is the style widget, and after using this style widget, here we just simply use the font size here, and after that we can get the font size. Okay, but if we want to remodify, so after that we can use the bold UI design. Also if we want to color for the text, so that time we can use the color through this process. Okay, so this is the basic welcome screen which can be used for the starting purpose. Okay, so it is the very basic starting syntax which can be used. But now we already seen we have some basic widgets. So text widgets already seen, center widget did not seen, but center widget also very important widget. But we already seen some basic widgets like container. Container is the basic widget, and also we have seen row widget, column widget, and stack widget. So 5 major widgets we already seen for UI designing. Okay, I just simply use the container here, and when I use the container, so after that here you can see some error. Okay, and this error cannot be viewed in your output, because if you are save it like this, so you cannot see any output. If you want to resolve this problem, so it is actually not a problem. This particular problems comes from this const keyword. So actually this const keyword need to be removed from this section. and when I remove the const keyword here, after that we see some blue line for this UIs, and this time here we can use const keyword here, and after using this const keyword maybe this problem is solved. But also const keyword is a not a solution for this section, so I think here we can use the const keyword. This container widget not be recommended by the Flutter plugins, because this time I use Visual Studio for the Flutter app development, and this Flutter plugins actually recommended if I use to bulb sign here. So after that here give us suggestions to remove this widget. If we remove this widget, so after that my widgets are removed from this section, and if I remove this widgets, so nothing it change to our screen. But problem is when I remove this particular widgets, we cannot give any background color if we remove the container. Okay, so this time I need to be add container. Actually I want to wrapping this text widget with the container widget. Okay, so for that purpose just click here to bulb sign, and after that we just simply wrap with container, and when I click here, after that I can see the wrap container here, and when I see it, and after that we can use the container tag here, and after that I just simply use alignment center, and when I set it align center, and after using this we can see the centering, so we can use it also instead of center widget. Okay, and when I use container widget, so here have so many extra parameters also here, where we can use background color for the screen. This time I want to use yellow color for entire screen, so that time if I use the color for the container widget, so after that we are seeing whole container as a yellow background. Yellow color is seen it background color, and text color is the front end color at this moment. Okay, I want to create some UI design with the row and column. So when I create any design row and column, so that time we also wrap this particular text widget, and after that we can see the bulb icon here, and here I just simply click in this section, and also I can just simply use wrap with column, and when I wrap with column, so after that we are seeing this kind of thing, and also I just use the const keyword in this section, and after this I just simply see this welcome screen in this section, and when I see the welcome screen like this position, and after that if we want to continue our screen after using the column, so after using column we can see parameter as a children, not a single parameter. Here we can use multiple parameter or multiple widgets in a array process. So basically thing is, when we are create any kind of UI design with the using widgets, so most of the times we can see child is the recommended parameter to use another widget, but when it is child, so that means here only possible way to create only one child, but when we are get the children things, so that time we can use multiple widgets in this children in this square brackets. Okay, so after that I just simply copy these text widgets multiple times here, and after saving this we can see this welcome screen in a multiple times into the vertical line or in the vertical way. Okay, but if we want to see it as a horizontal line, so that time we can use row section after using this column. So this is the column section, and after this column section we are actually create two text widget here, and after that we can wrap it with the row, and when I using row, after that you just seen this is the actually widget already it's get left into the screen, and after this we can copy the text widget here, and also we can use the another text widget, and this time we can see the multiple screen in this section. Okay, but when I use this kind of row process in this screen, so at this moment we are actually get a problem. It is the screen overflow problem. This is the actually visible screen, and after the content, that contents are not visible. So how can resolve this problem? So when we want to resolve this problem, so that time we can use a text direction to resolve this problem, and this time we can use text LTR, that means left to right, and also here we can use text left to right. But this is not a problem solving process because this container actually overflowed, and when it overflow, so that time we can be resolve this problem through this another widget. So here we can use expanded, which can be solved our problem through this way. Okay, so when I use expanded widget, so that time our text in broken into the two lines because I use this text directions LTR, and also I use the expanded widget which actually mention to use rest of the screen to design our UI or shared our UI space using this expanded widget. So we can also use the expanded widgets here also, but that expanded widget not get recommended directly, so you need to be use widget wrapping first, and after that you need to be the expanded right here, and after that you can see the expanded options after using this. Okay, and when you are actually using this way, so after that your problem will be solved, and it is actually very possible way to resolve our problem. And here have text direction is left to right and right to left. Two kind of directions can be used in this text decorations, and here I am using both of the thing for the text direction. Okay, so this is the very basic foundations for the UI designing. So I never discuss anymore after this process because this is the very basic designing structure protocol which actually need to be uses for our application development. So for that purpose I don't discuss with any huge UI designing for the beginners in the first of this series. So if you like this tutorial, so hit the like button, and if you want to learn about other things, so you can comment me into the comment section. And if you are new in my YouTube channel, so definitely subscribe my YouTube channel, and also hit the bell icon button for the further notification when I release any knowledgeable videos for the Flutter app development or any other technology related software development related videos I will be published, so you get quickly notified. So we will be meet with you next learning knowledgeable video. So keep learning, keep growing.